What's up, guys? It's the Farooqi brothers back with a breaking news video. Michael Keaton has been cast as Batman in the Flashpoint movie. Now, this is pretty big news. If you guys have been looking at our Twitter feeds this morning, we have been hinting at it. We're having some fun with it with our GIFs of Michael Keaton. But yes, we learned this morning that Michael Keaton will be coming back as Batman. Not only as any Batman, he's coming back as his own Batman, the one he played in Batman '89 and Batman Returns from 1992. And just to give you guys a quick recap of the news, The Wrap exclusively broke it just a couple of minutes ago. And basically, the Flash movie, yes, it's a Flashpoint movie like we discussed in our last video, but he's going to be doing a lot of things. And from what I'm reading specifically, this story sees Ezra Miller's Barry Allen travel back in time to prevent the death of his mother. And what ended up happening was that he destroyed the timeline and another universe was created where Michael Keaton is the Batman. He is the Batman of this universe, right? And basically, he's 30 years older, so you're going to see Keaton as he is now, but he's still Batman. So think like Dark Knight Returns, even older than Dark Knight Returns. Think that in your head. I know we saw Ben Affleck play a version of that as well. So what does this all mean? We're just hearing it now, but we got the news early in the morning, so let's shed some insight on kind of what we think this is, where we think it's going. Obviously, Flashpoint is very big, so let's get at it. Zion, what do you think?
So yeah, firstly, listen, DC is just beyond ahead of the game at this point. With things like this is so crazy. They're literally bringing together a different Batman from a different film universe and connecting with this. And I think this just being the first step to unlocking this whole multiverse of DC is going to be the game changer for DC films. Like, this is what's going to make them jump past Marvel in a way that, like, we've really never seen. Bringing together all these things. You can make the multiverse theory that DC has is such an amazing and cool thing. And now that it's being translated in this way and that it's confirmed that that is the Batman from those movies, from Batman '89 and Batman Returns, I think is beyond cool. And like you said, when we found it this morning and we talked about it privately, it's like you can't even contain your excitement for it, because this is just like the beginning. Like, if you make this first step, then anything's possible with this whole multiverse concept and with Flash. And he's obviously a terrific actor and one of the best Batman. Obviously, he changed the game for Batman live action. Having him back, seeing him back in this capacity, it really opens the door for DC to do anything. You know, this first step is the hardest, and now that they're doing it, it's gonna be too insane.
Another thing it shows is that Flashpoint is gonna be its own thing compared to the animated series. I know we all love the animated
and the comic.
Yeah, like, it's gonna be its own story, so you know it's gonna be a fresh story now. And that, again, like Zion said, this opens up a door, and we've talked about this on our podcast before, that it opens up a door for DC that hasn't been opened up for another comic house like that we know of. So it's cool to see what they're gonna do. I'm obviously, just like you guys, excited to see what Michael Keaton does, and how he and now it's been a while since he played the live action, Batman. So it'll be cool to see how he actually, if he changes things, if he does different things this time around. Things are being shot differently too nowadays with the VFX and all this other stuff that's going on. So we're gonna see a cooler version now of the OG. So yeah, that's my thoughts on it.
I think it's all right, but compared to the original Flashpoint, I think it's not as cool, not as good. Like, I'd rather they do the actual Flashpoint.
Why not?
I think it's a good replacement if they can't, get a hold of Jason Momoa or Gal Gadot and cast them. So I guess it's all right, but so I don't understand. Michael Keaton will be 30 years older than he was in the second Batman.
Yeah. So 1992, put 30 years on that, 2022, right? Did I do that math right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, no.
So it would be.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. So it would be accurate. This movie is slated for 2022. Though he would be 30 years older than he was in that last movie.
He's playing Bruce Wayne, not Thomas Wayne.
He's playing Bruce Wayne, yeah. So remember, we talked about this in our last podcast about Thomas Wayne and Jeffrey Dean Morgan from what I'm hearing, he's still circling the role. You know, that's the main word I'm hearing, circling the role. You know, so he's in talks. He wants to roll. But again, like Samir said, and like we already knew, this was never going to be a one-to-one Flashpoint like the comic book was by Jeff Johns, like the movie that came out, but the animated movie by Jay Oliver. But the main thing is that it's a loose Flashpoint where Michael Keaton's Batman's going to have a huge role. He's going to be like the Batman of the movie, whereas in Flashpoint, you see that it's usually Thomas Wayne's Batman who's the main one. So I think if you do see, in my opinion, if we do see Thomas Wayne as Batman, the Flashpoint Batman, it's going to be in a reduced role, in a smaller role, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
They can still get Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot. They can still get Cyborg. They can get like
Cyborg's in it. Yeah, Cyborg is set.
Yeah, Cyborg's in it. So they're not gonna. It's not that. I think they just want to go different than, because the animated series was so good. The animated
movie,
just calling it series. Yeah, the movie was so good that sometimes you don't wanna touch something that's already been done. Like if you're gonna redo something, then it makes sense to like kind of go your own way with it. So, like redoing the animated movie, that's not. You pretty much know everything's gonna happen, right? You pretty much know things that are gonna happen.
And then we already said this in our
comic book as well.
Yeah, and we said this in our last podcast that just dropped this morning, but we'll say it again here. The Wrap also double confirmed that Matt Reeves' movie will have nothing to do with this movie. So don't expect any kind of Robert Pattinson showing up. Don't expect maybe they'll hint at it because it's a multiverse, but don't expect a huge crossover between what Matt Reeves is doing and this. This is definitely a DCEU project, so the extended universe. So it's more than one universe, but not directly connected. And according to Warner Brothers, they still see Robert Pattinson as the main Batman going forward. They're going to be putting a lot of resources into that Batman. But for this Flashpoint movie, so don't expect, just because Matt Keaton's coming back now, he's not going to be the new Batman going forward, but expect him to be here. If they want to in the movie set the seeds up for Batman Beyond, hey, go for it. I think that's a smart way to go. Like
it could
set up Batman
it
Beyond.
It could also just serve as a celebration for him. Like it could just be like almost like a celebration. Like, okay, you played Batman like 20 years ago. We're gonna give you your own thing in the present. And that might just be it. He might just show up for Flashpoint. That's it. Just play his role, right?
That's possible. Yeah. The key is that they can do anything. That's what matters. They can do anything. And now with this step, they're showing that whether Keaton's back for just a small role, just for this film, or whether this opens the door to a multiverse type situation, the best part is that it's happening. That's what matters.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna
hopefully the CW Batman will show up too. All right.
What do you
say? All right. So let me just read what the Hollywood Reporter is saying. This is news dropping right away as we talk. So let us react to it as it comes out. The Hollywood Reporter is saying that if this deal breaks, Michael Keaton would not just return to Flash, but possibly for several other DC projects. Sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that the role for Michael Keaton is being envisioned to be like Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury in the MCU, who's going to be a mentor for future projects. For example, Batgirl is one of the projects that could fall under the Michael Keaton umbrella, and Warner Brothers had no comment. And now Humberto Gonzalez is saying that Thomas Wayne is not in the current script of Flashpoint. So obviously we're hearing a few different things now. So Humberto, he is sometimes right, sometimes wrong. Once again, his trade, which is the Wrap, is the one that did confirm the Michael Keaton story. But he's saying there is no Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman, and he was in the script at some point, but he's not in the script anymore. So what are your thoughts on that development? Is this happening all on the fly? So let's talk on the fly.
Listen, Umar just alluded to it. Now we know that this is more than just a small one-time role for him. And if Batgirl is one of the options, then they can also do the one thing that everybody's been wanting, which is the Batman Beyond. And Michael Keaton has been fan-casted as the old Bruce Wayne since, I think, the beginning of time for that role. This opens doors for all of that. And as a Batman fan, as a DC fan in general, it's going to be so insane to see what direction they'll go with it, because really they can go any direction at this point. Once you have them locked down, anything's possible.
And also, I'm also curious to see, like, is the Snyder Cut stuff a part of the canon? Because if it's a part of the canon, right? They show. Actually, we can't. Well, I mean, they show at the end they have a certain ending. Let's just go with what we know, right? You can't really say anything, but they have a certain way that they end Justice League 1. And if they do Justice League 2, there's a rumor that Batman dies at the end. So I wonder from that standpoint if Flashpoint is something that happens after that, like in the timeline.
Hmm.
You
It's
know what I mean?
interesting.
Like the timeline's
Yeah.
gonna be muddy, which is cool because it adds to the interest. Yeah, it adds to the interest of what they're going for.
Now, see, the thing is, like now, remember we said that if, okay, and now we're gonna react this live, guys, so it's a different podcast than normal. But if Ben Affleck is done as Batman, which he is, right? He's gonna have a swan song in Justice League, and if Justice League does well, Justice League 2 has a definitive end for that character story. But they said Robert Pattinson nothing to do with the DCEU. So at the same time, they said Michael Keaton is going to be Batman for multiple projects. So what if Flashpoint actually, instead of putting Robert Pattinson in the proper DCEU, it's putting Michael Keaton into the DCEU so that he can be Batman if Birds of Prey or any kind of movie mentions him going forward, Batman, he's the Batman they're talking about. And then if they want to do a background movie, want to do a Batman Beyond movie, you're set in the proper DCEU because Flash already fixed the timeline. Does that make sense?
It makes sense.
I don't know. Samir, let me see what Samir thinks about that, though. Samir, do you think that it's a good idea to have Michael Keaton replace Ben Affleck as Batman going forward in the DCEU?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Because of what Jan said about Batman Beyond, that would be sick. The live action Batman Beyond would be sick.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of cool project we're talking about. What are you saying, Zan?
Yeah, just the same thing that they can easily, because since he's playing an older Batman, then they can easily just swap him out for, like, he could just be the Ben Affleck Batman. He could have been the guy in Batman v Superman. He could have been the guy in all the movies. And Suicide Squad is just, he just looks different, you know? Like, he is that Batman. And if they did a Pattinson thing, then you'd be switching to a younger Batman that wouldn't fit with the current, with the future stuff. So now they're swapping him. If they would be swapping him with an older Batman, then that would just fit right perfectly in any future things they'd be trying to do.
So he is Ben Affleck's Batman. He's not his own Batman.
No, he would be his own Batman. That when Flash breaks the timeline, that Batman will come into our universe. Does that make sense?
But what do you have?
So that's two different Batmans then.
Then yeah, the universe splits. Then
so that's two different Batmans. But you could easily, because of Mike Keaton's, because of the whole age thing, you can make it where Ben Affleck's Batman is the Michael Keaton Batman. Technically, nothing happens because it's all the same thing.
Yeah, it's just something that Batman did in his time.
You could just
think of anything new drop between now and then. But yeah, so yeah, it's pretty crazy, and I think we just are getting in the Jim Lee experience when it comes to DCEU. But DC's changing because we know they need a Batman, and Ben Affleck doesn't want to come back in that capacity. I think AT&T's been trying, and he's gonna come back for what Zack needs. That's for sure. If Zack asks for something, he'll be there for Zack. But in terms of the DCEU on film, on theaters, that kind of thing, looks like, based on what the current news is, of course, with how fluid things are, every day something's changing. But as of right now, it seems like they're grooming Michael Keaton to take over the Batman role in some capacity. Like, he'll be just like the retired, older Batman within a group of younger heroes.
This also doesn't put really an end to the, technically, right? You could still have the Deathstroke and Batman thing that I think they want for HBO Max. It's something that they could easily still have. That could easily still happen.
If they wanted it. It's up to Affleck. Of course, AT&T's going to want everything, yeah. But we'll see what happens. Any last thoughts, guys? I think that's about it. I'm waiting for anything new, but I think that's about the new stuff. So
I think we're
lots of moving pieces, different production, different things going on. We don't know what's going on with Jeffrey Dean Morgan anymore. So maybe prior script he was there, now he's not. But Michael Keaton is confirmed. Not confirmed, he's in talks. So if the deal comes through, he will be Batman for the wider DCEU once Flashpoint happens. What do you think about all this? It's a lot of news to cover, a lot of news to digest. Let us know in the comments below. From myself, from Zayan, from Umar, and from Samir. It's the Farooqi Brothers. We'll see you next time. Peace out.